Serious, what are some seemingly normal images with disturbing backstories? Smudge the cat and that Real Housewife. Even I laughed at it till I realized the housewife pointing her finger was arguing with a group accusing her of making up her husband's abuse. The guy almost blinded her. Okay, not blinded but seriously threatened her sight. He killed himself. Not indicating he killed himself related to the abuse. But imagine living through those two things as a spouse. This woman has a child with this man. I think she's okay with it, but I was amazed. Just goes to show what's hidden in an internet full of disembodied images. The cat Smudge really is that great though. He's a rescue. This picture of the front of a car with two people in the front seats and you can see someone's hair in the background. This is actually the last picture of Princess Diana's bodyguard and chauffeur before the famous crash happened in the Alma Tunnel. Dottie and Diana, who were in the backseat, did not survive the crash. Henri Paul, the driver, died on impact. Her bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones required reconstructive surgery to his face.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
This photo of what looks like a few people in jumpsuits walking out of a building. In actuality, it's the last moment the crew of Challenger was photographed, a few hours before their launch. Their shuttle exploded just a minute after launch, but they didn't die. Then evidence indicates they died a few minutes later when the capsule hit the ocean. Just a normal day with a family taking advantage of wildflower season and getting a wholesome photo. Just below the wife, a rattlesnake is in mid-strike towards her forearm. The wife was bitten and survived, but the dog did not. I guess the moral of the story is check the tall grass. She appears to be on the other side of the wall. If you have ever been there, you would know just how crazy that is. The water is just ripping by near the falls. I swam in a race 7 miles upstream from the falls where the current was supposedly a mere 3.5 knots. Luckily the race was across and downstream because it was mad strong. There were a handful of volcanologists and photographers killed in the eruption. I'm not sure if this was who the last poster was referring to, but photographer Robert Landsberg famously, instead of making a futile effort to escape, rewound his film, packaged it back up in its case, put it in his backpack, and laid down on top of it before the blast hit him. The film was recovered 17 days later and developed, providing valuable info on the eruption when most other footage was unusable. BTK confounded by basic technology just like our own parents. The amount of actually replies this got is telling. It was a humorous observation, people. The idea of a reused floppy disk nabbing a serial killer is funny, not necessarily the fact that it was undeleted metadata, and not a lot of young people know this too. I know this thread is a little old now, but some morbid scrollers may find this fascinating. This photo is of Issei Sagawa, an actual cannibal from Japan. This photo was taken for a Japanese magazine after he was released from prison due to insanity. He was frequently on talk shows, reviewed restaurants for magazines, and even appeared in horror films. He wrote a book on his murder of Renée Hartevelt, and you can read in explicit detail about how his mind conflated eating her to a romantic act. Note, it is not for the faint of heart, it will not leave you. A family member of mine lives in that town and was actually out walking their dog on the trail about an hour before. Got questioned real thoroughly by the police. Creepier than the photos is the audio recording. The girls had the presence of mind to record. I presume there's a lot more to the recording than just that, but I doubt we'll ever find out. This article has a really weird way of portraying the story. It's almost like they were blaming the city of Port St. Lucie for the murder because they don't have enough things for teenagers to do. The amount of description and the really weird way it's presented makes it seem like a morbid fan fiction, or the writer had a word count they had to reach.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are two schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge, I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food and going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.
The man dressed as Santa Claus in the picture is Bruce MacArthur. He was a landscaper for most of the year, and worked as the Agincourt Mall Santa during the holiday season. Between 2010 to 2017 he would lure men to meet up via a dating app, murder them, and spread their remains among planters' boxes at properties he managed. He was found guilty of 8 counts of first-degree murder and is serving life in prison. The start of the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix is one that I still struggle to look at. Car number 2, driven by 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna, would crash on lap 6, killing him, while in the background, you can see the stalled blue, white and green car of J.J. Leto. He would be hit by another car, sending debris into the crowd that injured 9 people. The previous day, Austrian Roland Ratzenberger had been killed in a crash, and Brazilian Rubens Barrichello was lucky to live in another accident. AMP, X200B. A seriously messed up race, that was the leading theory. I think I remember them saying they thought one of them got injured early, hence the 911 call, and then the other was trying to find help and lost service so she couldn't make the call again. She used the camera flash for light at night and then made another 911 call when she found service again, but eventually the phone died. But I watched the documentary a while ago, so I may be misremembering. Christina's World, a famous painting by Andrew Wyeth. A farmhouse in the distance, a woman sprawled on the grass, no picnic blanket though. A gorgeously detailed painting that hangs in the Museum of Modern Art. I spent some time with it, marveling at the brushstrokes and realism. Then I read the placard next to it. Christina was a lone woman, a farm owner who had suffered from a disease and could not walk. She crawled everywhere, and put up with a pretty grim life. One English couple at a hotel had a little girl that was outside playing and came running in all freaked out, telling them they had to go high up because a huge wave was coming. Parents trying to figure out what she was talking about. Japanese man standing close by heard the little girl say tsunami and asked her what happened, and little girl told him, and he started yelling for everyone to head for the stairs. He and little girl ran for them and everyone else just followed with the ocean on their tails. Little girl had learned in her school about them, and the Japanese man was the only one that understood what she was talking about. My town had a painting of this picture with people and stuff up for a couple years. It was cool and all. I was glad my town was showing more murals. But then several years later word gets out it's actually a picture of a fucking lynching. Yes. A lynching. Basically in the heart of town. Shit got taken down so quickly. I can't remember what the artist had to say about it, but here's what it looked like. Type F. Edit: the artist said his painting depicted monsters and how we should not act. The city took it down for a fear of misinterpretation. The top photo looks like a cop chillin'. It is a fake cop who, when photo taken, just got arrested after killing 77 people, among them approx 60 kids teenagers, and injuring around 250 people. He set off a bomb in the city that killed 8 people and then went out to an island where a youth camp was held. He just started shooting. They were trapped on the island and had to swim to get off. Kids who didn't know who was shooting came to him for safety because he was dressed as a cop, and then he shot them. If you're familiar with Davi Vanity, frontman of Blood on the Dance Floor, you might know he has been accused of grooming sexually assaulting children, many of them being underage teen kids, for many years now. Accusations go back to 2007, and as recently as 4 or 5 days ago. There's a selfie of him and Jessie Slaughter, who was 11 years old at the time. Jessie Slaughter's relationship with Davi Vanity was outed by an ex-friend, and she responded the way an 11-year-old would, by posting some pretty regrettable videos. But, she didn't deny the relationship with Davi Vanity. Davi and his bandmate, Jay, responded to the video by mocking her, claiming they didn't know her, doxing her by posting her phone number on Twitter, getting his fanbase to harass her for years, and then he even wrote a song about her, calling her a slut, which he purposely released on her 12th birthday. If you didn't know the context of the photo, you might think this was some emo guy taking a picture with his younger sister or something, but he was dating, aka molested her, and subsequently made her life hell for the years following. As of a couple of days ago, this guy is finally under criminal investigation with the FBI. Chris Hansen has been on it too. Import to note that while this was the last photo of the occupants before the crash, it isn't the last photo before Diana died. There were lots of photos taken by the paparazzi after the crash while they were breathing their last breaths waiting for the ambulance to arrive. As far as I know, these have never been publicly released, but they'll exist in someone's collection somewhere. GT, but if your skin is tingling and your hair is standing up like that outside for seemingly no obvious reason, you may want to get to lower ground or fully encased shelter immediately. As others have pointed out, if your hair is standing up, it's already too late to seek lower ground or shelter. You simply don't have time.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work, using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds, any time of day.
This photo before the Omagh bombing in Northern Ireland. Almost immediately after this photo was taken, a bomb was set off in the red car beside the boy on his dad's shoulders. The father and child survived miraculously, but the photographer and 28 others died, while around 220. The pictures of the Dutch girls of Panama girls got lost in the jungle and were for days. A few months later, a backpack with the camera and these photos was found. Since there seems to be some confusion, the link is to an INGENIOUS album with the photos, that also details the story in the description, not made by me. At first the photos are innocuous, just two girls on a trip. So I think it fits the ops request. This picture from a hiking trip has an injured woman in the background. She and a friend had gone hiking and slipped off of a waterfall. Too injured to move, they were there for a day before being found. The woman in the photograph survived, but by the time they were rescued, her friend was already dead. Reddit thread about it here. As a lot of people are seeing this, please always take precautions when you're hiking, climbing, or otherwise going out into nature. Wear eye-catching clothing, take care around dangerous terrain, tell someone where you're going. Stay safe. Also, wording of the first line changed. The 17-year-old went missing on the morning of February 27th, when he told family members that he planned to hike Haiku Stairs, also known as the Stairway to Heaven. The photo was one of a few photos the teen had texted to family members during his hike, and after extensively studying the pictures, they noticed a man in one of them. The family is now asking for the public's assistance in identifying the man in the photo, hoping he may have more clues that could possibly lead to Pua's location. Last image of Thai diver Saman Kunan. He was transferring oxygen tanks for 12 boys and their coach, who were trapped in a cave. He got into difficulties and did not have enough air himself. He died after losing consciousness in one of the passageways.
If there's ever a fly, or a mosquito, or like a yellow jacket, or some weird unknown insect in my house, my wife will not leave me alone until it is dead, and she will blame me personally for having a house that an insect entered. The only way that I'm able to buy peace for myself so that I can work on this YouTube channel that you enjoy is by using an electric fly swatter with an affiliate link in the description. The way this fly swatter works is that you hold down the little button and then you whack the fly as if it were a tennis ball, and it looks like a tennis racket. And what the electricity does is it stuns the insect or kills it so that you can clean it up easily. And the fact that it's a tennis racket gives you a much better chance of actually hitting the insect. And I found it invaluable, and I hope that you will decide to also use it in your home. And, if you're like a teenage boy, you can also whack other teenage boys with it. We used to do that in the Boy Scouts.